Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. In today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at Batgirls issue 1. And this series just debuted today, and I had been told about this series on Twitter, on some of the people I follow, that this is going to be coming out. And considering it was a Bat book that doesn't really focus on Batman as the main lead, I wanted to give it a shot. I've heard a lot of good things about Bat Family books, such as Nightwing and that, by Tom Taylor. Some people like it, some people don't. But Batgirl seemed pretty interesting because it was two characters that aren't really shown a lot, even in the Batman team-up books, being Cassandra Cain's Batgirl and Stephanie Brown's Batgirl. And this story basically shows us those two, along with Barbara Gordon, being Oracle, it seems. At least she used to be. As we'll go through the story, we'll talk about that. And yeah, it should be really interesting. And we are going to be covering this series on the channel. So if you are a fan of this book and you have checked out issue 1 and you enjoyed what you saw and read, I recommend you subscribe to the channel because we will be dropping reviews as the issues come out. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. Real quick, guys, if you want to help me get more videos out faster, you can donate to the channel at the Cash App down below. This helps me treat these videos more like a job and will help the channel and videos to grow and come out more often. I appreciate anyone who donates or doesn't donate, and don't feel like you have to be a fan of the channel. You can still show your support by liking and commenting on the video, and with that out of the way, hope you enjoyed the video. So this story basically starts off with us being introduced to the character of Seer, and I'm guessing Seer was introduced during the Fear State story arc in the ongoing Batman series, the modern Batman series that's going on. I haven't read Fear State. I will be reading it so I can make a review on that whole event. The Batman issues at least of Fear State. But I haven't got around to reading that. But I'm guessing Seer was introduced during that and was did something with the Batgirls. That's kind of like referenced in these pages. But since I didn't read that, I don't really know much about this character. But apparently, she seems to be the antagonist for the first story arc in this story. And I basically just see her kind of like, it seems like looking up information on all three of the Batgirls. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now we get to see that the Batgirls basically go and they basically are renting out this apartment, it seems, and they basically have these little like slice of life moments throughout the issues, basically showing us their personalities. I thought that was really good, and I think stuff like this is very important for a first issue in a story run, or a series run, because it gives us a sense of character for all three of the characters, and I thought that was really good. We also get to see that Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain's relationship, being very close friends, it seems, is shown throughout the whole issue, and I really enjoyed how they have a neighbor that they get introduced to, and we get to see how Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain interact with new people, being that Cassandra keeps kind of like to herself, and even the way that she talks doesn't seem to be like very verbal, compared to Stephanie Brown, who's very like happy, outgoing, and this gets her into a type of awkward situation with the neighbor when he just slams the door basically in her face as she's trying to like introduce her and Cassandra to him. I thought that Cassandra's reaction to this whole situation was pretty funny as well. Because at first she seemed indifferent to it, but then after Stephanie got the door slammed in her face, she basically laughed at her. I thought that was a very comedic scene. Now this next scene actually got me kind of hyped because we get to see that Stephanie Brown basically puts up a poster, it seems, for the place that they're living at, that there should be like some type of event, and we get to see a hand with the name Spellbound on it. And if I'm correct, Spellbound, or I want to say that's the name of a villain from the Batman Beyond cartoon. So I'm wondering if we're going to be diving into like making Batman Beyond kind of like canon in the modern DC continuity, as well as his villains, his rogues gallery. That will be pretty interesting. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm pretty sure that's where Spellbound comes from. And even the design of it looks very reminiscent of that Batman Beyond cartoon. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, we get to see more of their interactions. We get to learn that Cassandra actually got into a fight and had to throw the fight to not give away her identity of being a very good fighter, and to this group of guys, this like gang of guys that basically stole her favorite like bathrobe or something like that. I thought that was really interesting scene, and it shows the stuff that they're going through at this point in their life and trying to like keep things on the down low, not to be caught by Seer, it seems. And eventually we get to see that Cassandra goes to go take a shower and she basically comes out wearing her favorite robe. And when Stephanie Brown basically calls her out saying that she thought that she had told them that the group of guys had basically stolen it from her, kind of like mugged it from her, she basically says that she probably just forgot that it was inside. Now we get to see when Stephanie hears something coming from outside that she sees that the guys that had actually mugged Cassandra basically are on the ground, basically beat up, basically implying that Cassandra went and got her stuff back from this gang of dudes. Now the next day, it seems that Cassandra, Stephanie, and Barbara basically go to the secret place, the secret stash that Batman had, that he gave access to Barbara, and this has like these little like bat, motorcycles, basically bat cycles, but they look very outdated and stuff. And this surprises Cassandra and Stephanie, and they basically say that they're not impressed by it, that it sucks. And it turns out that Cassandra actually got the keys for their type of like Batmobile type vehicle for her and Stephanie. So they basically get suited up and they just have like a joyride throughout the city. Eventually, they are on patrol whenever they catch the guys that had tried to mug Cassandra, basically, or I guess technically they did, but then she got revenge back on them. And they're basically attacking these type of like construction workers. So they basically make landfall and they get into a fight with this set of game dudes, basically. And we get a really cool splash panel or splash page showing different panels of the two Batgirls basically doing combat with this gang of dudes. Eventually, we get to see that the construction workers are like mind controlled or something, and Cassandra basically uses like some type of like smoke repellent to basically make their getaway, her and Stephanie, and as well as get them kind of like to their senses or give them an opportunity to escape. And it's told to us that eventually the construction workers did come to their senses. So it's not implied if Seer is actually controlling these people with like mind control. But just considering Fear State had just happened, and I haven't read that story, so I don't know exactly how Scarecrow's fear toxin had worked in that story. But I'm guessing it might be some of the aftermath from that story arc or story event. And yeah, so we get to see that they basically go back to their home, and Barbara basically is up waiting for them. And she basically tells them to basically go to bed and that they can give their report tomorrow. And basically tell her all that has basically gone on. And she is kind of disappointed in them because they basically went out and it could have gotten into some massive danger considering they are being watched, it seems, by Seer. And Seer must be a pretty bad person considering that Barbara seems to be worried about the safety of all three of them. So I'll have to definitely check into that and see what exactly I might have missed. Now, when Stephanie and Cassandra are basically in the room just talking to each other, Cassandra basically notices that their neighbor basically is dragging like a human-shaped bag, basically, and this leads them to go to Barbara and basically surprise her and tell her that they think their neighbor is basically the killer that they've been hearing on the news lately. So Barbara basically tells them to just like chill out and to, they're probably just being paranoid. So this leaves Stephanie and Cassandra to basically go out and try to find the truth for themselves, going to where that trash can is to confirm if it's a body or not. And while they go and do that, they basically get confronted by the magistrate, it seems. And Barbara's basically asleep when this happens, so they're basically trying to get her attention. And it seems like Sierra basically hacked into her system of her computers and that, or her setup, and basically is trying to let her know that the Majesty is there to seek out her Batgirls. And I thought that was really interesting because Barbara, I guess, isn't considered a Batgirl now that she's Oracle. And yeah, so the final page of the issue basically shows Cassandra and Stephanie preparing for battle, and we get to see. Well, that's the end. That's on the page with Barbara, but the final page is the Magistry. Basically, it's like a team of the Magistry. Of I guess it's 4 people called Tarsis, Assisti, Valentine and Fight 05. And I don't know if they had already met these people in the Fear State story arc. I'm guessing they did. But if they didn't, then these would be new characters. But they are called the Saints altogether. And they are from the Magistrate, it seems, or they are the Magistrate, and they're gonna go into combat and basically try to kill, as they say, the Batgirls, that the Batgirls won't survive this encounter. We know they are, but it's gonna be interesting to see them throw down with the set of opponents. It seems that they're gonna fight 2-on-4. So we'll see how they do. And that's how Batgirls issue 1 ends. And yeah, so that was Batgirls issue 1. Overall, it was a solid issue. I think, to be honest, it was good. Definitely solid. I would give it maybe like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I do think that it could have been better in that it definitely could have had more information in it. It could have progressed the story a lot more. But I think as you go through it, it was more so to build character and to give the readers, people that don't know these characters, someone like me that's very new to these characters and have never really read any solo stories of them, to basically get a hint or a taste of what their personalities and what their characters are like. And overall, as far as that goes, I think it did a really good job. And overall, I do recommend that if you have never checked out these characters, these 3 characters being Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown, and Barbara Gordon, as Batgirls, basically, both of them are considered Batgirl and Oracle, then I definitely recommend you go check out this first issue because it was really good, very solid, and was really fun. And overall, that's what we want to have with these type of stories, to have fun. And considering it's a female-led book, which I'm not really a person to get into, the genders of characters or stuff like that, but it is very impressive that it's a female-led book, and it was actually very, very enjoyable. And hopefully this is something we can see more of in the future, especially regarding the Bat Family, because you have a lot of good characters in the Bat Family that really don't get a lot of shine. And I think the fact that they felt they had the confidence to do a female-led book like this, and really put the good artist on it, a good writer on it, good letterer, just everything, good colors, everything about it was just solid. And hopefully this all continues into issue 2. I don't know when issue 2 is going to drop, if it's a monthly series or it's bi-weekly. I think it's monthly, so we probably won't talk about issue 2 until next month from now. So I believe it should be 1 month from now. But yeah, overall, great, good dialogue, gave you a sense of what the characters are, a very good female-led book. So for people that are looking for a female-led book, definitely recommend you go check this one out. And hopefully it continues being solid and it doesn't drop the ball after this first issue. We're hoping that it stays solid and hoping that we continue enjoying this story as it continues going forward. And I don't know how long this is supposed to go on, if this is supposed to be a long-running series or it's just like a mini-series, very short run of issues. I don't know. I will make a video about it when I find that out, or we'll talk about it when issue 2 drops. But yeah, overall, very good book. Definitely recommend go check it out. Link in the description down below to go check out our Comicsology if you haven't already, to go check out legally. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on issue 2 when that drops. I will have a review on it. And I basically review comic book runs on this channel. I do trade paperback / volume reviews on this channel. That's our main thing. We have just jumped into power scaling / how strong respect videos basically as well. So we're gonna have a lot of different variety on the channel. And if you're new, definitely subscribe and show your support by commenting down below. Let me know what you thought of Batgirls issue 1, and if you're gonna continue reading it, what was your favorite panel / moment from this comic. For me personally, it's the panel with Cassandra wearing the little like onesie / robe that she wears. I thought that was her favorite robe, as she says. I thought that was a really good panel. And overall, I thought the artwork was just great. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until next video, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.